Thomas, I actually went back.
Yeah, I seen the
I
tweet.
don't remember if I texted you or not, but I went back to our schedule release live stream where we did
Mhm.
predictions of the Bengals and Browns, and I actually
Yeah.
looked up what the exact records we picked were. You picked the Bengals to go 12-5, I believe,
Yep.
and you had the Browns at 13-4, and that didn't happen. But I had both the Bengals and the Browns at 11-6, and it seems like I might have been right about the Bengals.
By the way, how was your vacation?
My vacation was, you mean in Buffalo?
Yeah.
That was just the greatest, fantastic. And you know, it was even better. I think I might have mentioned it on this pod on the last episode. No, I didn't because we didn't do this podcast last week. So, on the way back from Buffalo, me and my wife stopped for a night in Pittsburgh because we didn't want to make like, a 7-hour drive home. And it was just absolute. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful day because the Bengals earlier in the day when we got to Pittsburgh earlier that day, the Bengals had absolutely waxed the goddamn floor with the Baltimore Ravens, and Joe Burrow was setting records, and it was fantastic. It was awesome. Then I get to Pittsburgh and I go eat a delicious Primanti's Reuben, and I'm just having time of my life because I'm not gonna lie, I like Pittsburgh's food. I just hate your city, but while I'm eating it, Chiefs fan walks by. Got a dude decked out in Chiefs gear because they were playing the Chiefs that day. Walks by, and I'm like, "Hey, go Chiefs!" And he's like, "Yeah, there we go." And then the entire Primanti's bar looks at me and is like, "Bro,
Score y'all
what are
beat
you
them
doing?"
next week.
And then later that day, Kansas City beats them 30-0 or whatever it was. It was I forget the exact score, but it was fantastic.
It could have been nice if Kansas City beat y'all.
Do what?
It could have been nice if Kansas City beat y'all.
Well, it would have been nice for you, but it was very nice for me, Thomas. I said I just put out a power rankings video a couple hours before we started recording this, and I said on the video that attending that game was probably the greatest experience I've had as a Cincinnati Bengals fan. It was just except maybe in 2012 we beat the Steelers in a win and you're in type of game, and we beat the Steelers, knocked them out of the playoffs. We got to the playoffs. That was great. But this game against Kansas City is different because this game against Kansas City it shows, and I know it sucks for you guys because we eliminated you guys from the playoffs by winning that game.
No, they deserved it.
Well, that is also true. They did deserve it, but
I mean, they had so many chances. They deserved it.
Here's the thing about the Bengals. But like, you want to talk about deserving it, the Bengals proved that they deserve all this hype that they've been getting. Because here's the thing, like, other than the one win we had against Baltimore, like, weeks and weeks and weeks ago, the most recent win against Baltimore, everybody's criticizing, and I kind of said a little bit myself, had a lot to do with the fact that it's like, okay, but these are practice squad players playing for the Ravens. Josh Johnson wasn't even on the Ravens before Tyler Huntley got COVID and Lamar Jackson hurt his ankle. So there was a lot of fair criticism about the fact that it's like, Joe Burrow went out there and set a bunch of records, and it's like, okay, but I feel like if you go out there and set a bunch of records against a practice squad team, then I feel like you did your job against the practice squad team. But we still needed to go out and we needed to beat an opponent that was worthy of, saying, hey, we're great. Like I put the Bengals, I forget. I think I still had the Bengals at number 11 in my power rankings after we beat the Ravens, and now they're number 3 in my power rankings.
Y'all might win a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
The Patriots scare me. The Patriots. I mean, I won't be rooting for you all in the playoffs, but I mean,
well, we'll see. The thing is, right now, if the playoffs were to start today, I believe we'd be playing the Patriots in the playoffs, like in the first round. So. I'm not too worried about it because, like, I mean, I'm all the respect in the world to Bill Belichick for sure. I mean, I'm never going to count that man out. But at the same time, I feel like, I don't know, the Patriots have just been showing their vulnerability lately. Like, I mean, there was a point where it was like, oh my God, nobody wants to play the Patriots. And just the last few weeks, it's been like, I mean, I know they beat the Jaguars 50-10. Like, I get that. But honestly, there's not a team right now that scares me as a Cincinnati Bengals fan. It was the Chiefs, and now they don't scare me. Like,
I'll tell you
the oh shit, I had the teams written down here.
I'll tell you the team that scares me as a Browns fan. The team that scares me as a Browns fan is the Browns.
Yeah. Hey, Thomas. Well, you know what? We'll get to that when we get.
No, we'll say that. Save it. Let's just talk about the good news. I'm honestly. No, I'm honest. No, I don't want to talk about them clowns. I am honestly really excited.
We're gonna have to talk about them eventually.
I'm actually really excited. I'm like really excited about the Bengals because for one, I like being right, and like I was actually higher on if any of our loyal listeners. I was actually higher on the Bengals this year than you were. I actually even said the Bengals are going to sweep the Browns this year. I said all of that.
Thomas, I actually went back. I
seen the tweet.
I don't remember if I texted you or not, but I went back to our schedule release live stream where we did predictions of the Bengals and Browns, and I actually looked up what the exact records we picked were. You picked the Bengals to go 12-5, I believe.
Yep.
And you had the Browns at 13-4, and that didn't happen. But I had both the Bengals and the Browns at 11-6, and it seems like I might have been right about the Bengals. Now, the Browns, but
if I remember correctly, I said they're going to win. The Bengals are going to win 11 games. But I'm going to give them an extra win because I'm a homer. Pretty sure that's literally what I said. Something of that nature. Did I say something like that?
Well. You might have, but the thing is, we went through the schedule and we
yeah.
So you might have come to the conclusion afterwards that you were a homer, but like when we were doing the individual picks, you legitimately came to 13-4.
Look at that, man. No, I mean I'm talking about the Bengals. But anyway, I'm not worried. Like I told you, I am not worried about these guys. Wait, hold up. Fuck, this is harder than I thought it would be. Oh shit! I'm talking my computer. Okay, so wait, hold up. Okay, so it's on this side. Yeah. These guys.
It took you a while to get. You're not worried. I'm worried about them.
I'm not worried. I do not care about these guys for another 8 months. Okay. You do not matter. Hold up. You do not matter.
You're doing a good job now. Well, unfortunately, when the off season happens, we do still have one podcast a week. So you're going to have to care a little bit.
Shit. I mean, there's going to be a lot to talk about the Browns. There's probably going to be more to talk about the Browns off season than the Bengals as they look for a new quarterback. But we'll get to that in a second.
Well, we will get that into in a second. That's what I was going to tell you was the good news. But so here's my thing about the Bengals and their upcoming playoff, the teams that they could potentially see in the playoffs. So, like I said, if they started today, we'd be playing the Patriots.
Okay.
That's because we're the number 3 seed right now, and the Patriots are the number 6 seed. Now, if we beat the Browns next week, then we'll probably stay the number 3 seed because you got the Chiefs playing the Broncos, and then you got the Titans playing the Jaguars. So the Texans. The Titans playing the Texans, and then the Colts playing the Jaguars. So like I have a feeling the Bengals probably don't have much of a chance at the number 1 seed. Now it is possible. It is possible if the Chiefs lose to the Broncos and the Titans lose to the Texans. I get those teams mixed up like they're the same team. They're not too far off. But the point being, I think it's pretty unlikely that either of those two teams are going to lose their games next week. If it happens, we could be the number 1 seed next week with a win over the Browns. And the Browns,
don't care. I'm gonna beat us.
That's going to be an interesting game because I think I think it's going to be Brandon Allen versus Case Keenum.
I want to see Carolina.
That's how bad the Browns are. But you want to know how good the Bengals are, Thomas. Joe Burrow, right now, after 16 games, has finished. Now, he's got another game. Well, he probably won't play next week. But after 16 games in a season, Joe Burrow has not just broken, but shattered the Bengals' all-time passing yards in a season record with 4,611. Over the last 2 games, Thomas, he's thrown for 971 yards in 2 games.
He's a baller.
8 touchdowns.
That performance against the Ravens was sensational. I mean, that performance against the Chiefs was really good. But what's crazy about it is he's doing this right before the playoffs. Get ready, get ready,
Oh
get
yeah.
ready, Cincinnati.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
so I'm so happy. I think one thing I'm happy about. I'm so happy we didn't play y'all in the playoffs because, like, secretly in my head, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Secretly in my head, I did not want to ever play Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Not at least not yet. Not his first playoff game because, like, I just know Joe Burrow is just gonna go off in the playoffs.
Well, the only time we have ever seen Joe Burrow take part in playoffs at any level, because obviously his high school team did not have televised playoffs, at least ones that I saw.
Oh,
So the
I
only
watched him at the state championship game. I went
oh
to Joe
was he
Burrow's
good?
state championship game. Yeah, I did.
Was he
That's why
good?
I became a fan of him. I've been a
Oh
fan of Joe Burrow. Yeah, that's why I like Joe Burrow so much because I've been a fan of Joe Burrow since before he was even in college.
well, I
Fun
was I
fact: I
was
went to his high school state championship game. Yeah,
I was a fan of his dad when I was in college, but I didn't know
you know what I'm
about
saying.
Joe Burrow.
I mean, I don't know how you didn't. He was kind of a big deal at OU.
I don't really pay too much attention to high school football. I'm not gonna lie.
I pay more attention to high school football than I do college football.
I mean, I don't really pay the only reason I pay attention to college football is for like draft stuff, and high school football, like I don't pay hardly any attention at all. Like my high school team, I don't know what your high school team was like, but my high school team when I was in high school was god awful. So it's
Oh
like
no, they suck.
I never really learned about the high school structure. It's just like all I know is like my team can't ever go do anything. I didn't know if they had playoffs or if they just had a game at the end of the year or how it worked. I just knew that my team was bad.
Well, my high school basketball team literally produced two NBA players, and guess how many high school basketball games I went to while I was in high school? While they were one of the best teams in the entire state. Three. Out of three high school basketball games my entire time in high school. Because I just didn't care. Terry
Oh,
Rozier, you're a great player. Sorry, Terry
my
Rozier.
high school.
Shout out to you. You're great.
I
Keep on
don't
doing your
think
thing with
my
the
high school
Hornets.
produced any NBA players, but we did
That's it.
produce when I was in high school. We did produce one NFL player, and he turned out to be one of the worst starting linebackers the Bengals have ever had.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he was bad, and I don't think he's even in the league anymore. Like he got drafted by Buffalo, and he did pretty well there, and then he came and signed with us, and he got hurt a lot and never really did anything. Then he went to the Jaguars, and he went to the Raiders, and I don't know if he's even like in the league anymore. I
Can I
don't think
say
he is.
something about Can I say something about the Bengals?
What's that?
Um, you guys could win it all this year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, like I mean, like from somebody who's in your division and from a completely outside perspective. So you have one of the best. You have a top three running back in the league. You have a top five quarterback in the league. You have a top three receiver in the league. Your defense is really good. Your defense not bad, isn't bad at all. You got Hickerson. His name Hickerson, the guy you got from the Saints. What's his name? Isn't it Hickerson, right? Yeah,
Henderson.
Henderson. Yeah, I love him. Love him. Love him. Love him. Jesse Bates, one of the best safeties in the game. So
Well,
you have
not
all
this
these.
year. Not.
Yeah, sure. But still, like your defense been cohesive. Your defense been there. Joe Burrow looks like he's not letting the offensive line bother him this year. Um, y'all can win it. Y'all can win it all this year.
Yeah.
Y'all can win it all
Well,
this year.
I think
Y'all can out
after.
offense any team in the NFL.
Well, that's the thing. And after we beat the Chiefs, here's my thought process. These are the teams that I think are going to make it to the playoffs. You got, the Chiefs, who we just beat, and we proved, I mean, like their weakness is their secondary. Our strength is our weapons. So, I mean, there you go. That's just, A equals B. Like, yes, the Chiefs can beat us, but we can beat the Chiefs. So I ain't scared of them. The Titans won't be able to shut down all of our weapons either. And we shut down Derrick Henry last year. So, I mean, am I scared of the Titans? Hell no, I'm not scared of the Titans.
Derrick
Bill
Henry,
Belichick,
like most of
I
the
think
season too.
Joe Burrow, like Bill Belichick is a defensive genius, but Joe Burrow is an offensive genius. So I think Joe Burrow can probably take on Bill Belichick. I'm not scared. I'm not saying that we definitely beat the Patriots. I'm saying I'm not scared of the Patriots at all. Maybe if they had Tom Brady, but even then, Joe Burrow's a young Tom Brady.
Joe Burrow's a young Tom Brady. There you go. I think Joe Burrow's a young but Joe Burrow.
And then the Colts, again, Bengals, good running defense. We can shut down Jonathan Allen. And What do you have to say about Carson Wentz, Thomas?
I ain't gonna say he's trash anymore.
Oh, well, you should because you need to make my point for me. I'll
I
say it. You
mean,
suck,
like,
Carson Wentz.
but I mean, like, let's be real though. I mean, Carson Wentz last year he was hurt. He played while he was hurt, and then he goes to play for the Colts, and then now the Colts are a playoff team.
Well, yeah, but that's mostly because of Jonathan Allen, to be honest. I mean, I'm not saying Carson Wentz hasn't helped, but I am saying Carson Wentz has
Yeah,
been
play bad.
erratic. Well, he's
And
been
play
erratic.
horrible.
There have been some times where he's been bad. That's the point. Like,
Yeah.
he's been good enough to give them enough of a boost. But like, I feel like if Jonathan Taylor had this kind of season last year, they would have made the playoffs with Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, possibly. Quite possibly. I believe that. Actually, yeah, no, I believe that. Didn't they make the playoffs last year?
The Colts?
Yeah. It was the Dolphins who didn't make playoffs last year.
Yeah,
it was because the last three teams to get in were the Dolphins, the Colts, and the Browns. It was the three teams that were battling for the playoff spot between the Dolphins, the Colts, and the Browns, and the Colts made the playoffs, but they got smoked in the first round.
I wouldn't say smoked. They lost 27-24, but they did lose to Buffalo. So yeah, they didn't do much. But yeah, I guess I forgot the Colts did make the playoffs last year with Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? They might lose in the first round again this year.
Probably will. But I mean, I'm with you. Like I would still take it. You guys over the Colts. I think y'all a better team than the Colts.
Then if we play the Chargers, I said it when we lost to the Chargers before. I said it on this podcast. I said if we play the Chargers again, I think we could beat them. Because the Bengals, honestly, in that game, they beat themselves. You know what the Bengals haven't been doing in this 3-game winning streak we've been doing lately, Thomas?
Beating ourselves.
They have not been beating themselves. Exactly. You know, I don't even know if I'm trying to think. I don't think we've turned the ball over. And then the Raiders could make the playoffs if they beat the Chargers. But we already beat the Raiders, so why can't we do it again? And then Darren Waller is on IR. So I mean, like, that's the one thing that they'd have that would, I don't know how we would cover. They don't even have Darren Waller. I don't know how they're going to beat us. And then the other teams that could make it are the Steelers and the Ravens. Do you remember what we did to the Steelers and Ravens this year, Thomas?
I don't think the Ravens going to make the playoffs. So like, just shut that up.
Well, yeah, they're neither of them are going to make the playoffs. But
neither of them going to.
The Steelers have a 5% chance, Thomas, and the Ravens have a 2% chance. So it is possible, technically.